What is up? And happy Tuesday. Beautiful day today. Beautiful meaning cloudy and cool, which is really nice for running because that means I didn't have to wear sunglasses today. I didn't have to worry about getting a burn on my forehead. I had posted on my my Instagram story and my Facebook story. James Swift Fit is my Instagram handle, and I had posted because I had seen some runners that have these hats and they wear their hair like this. I don't have any hair, but they wear their hair like this, and I thought, is that like some young kid style? And then I took my hat off and I had this like suntan like this. My family got a good laugh out of that. I got a good chuckle out of it too, and I thought, oh, that's Instagram worthy. You know, you can't take yourself too seriously. And so I posted it for other people to learn. But anyways, so it was a nice day. I had my strength work. So strength work are longer intervals at a slightly slower pace than my speed runs. And today was 1.5, so I had a 1 mile warm up, 1.5 mile strength pace. So my goal was to keep it between 7:18 and 7:30. And I actually was a lot faster than that, so I decided to just kind of roll with it because I was feeling pretty good, and you know, my goal is to get a little bit faster, and so I felt it in my body that I was able to go a little bit faster, and so that's what I decided to do. And so my first mile was 7:01, or my first mile and a half was a 7:01 pace. My second one was 6:50. My third one was 6:54, and my fourth one was a 7:01. And then I did that for 4 intervals at a mile and a half, and then I had a half of a mile recovery. And then that amounted to just under 8 minutes per mile, 7:58 for the total, as it included the cool down and the warm up, which were somewhere around like a 9-minute pace or so. Good run today. It was a total of 10. The workout itself was 6 miles of actual work with a couple miles worth of recovery time. But the other thing that I'll share with you is I always wondered why I would see a lot of these professional runners, they wear the tank top, but then they would wear these arm sleeves. And I thought, oh man, like maybe that's a way to keep warm, or maybe that's like a way to brush off sweat. Well, on Sunday, I found out why. So if you can see here, that is a burn from rubbing on my tank top for 18 and some odd miles. I didn't get that the last time I trained. I can't remember why. I'm gonna chalk it up to I went through a bulking phase prior to this training phase for 3 months, and I'm about roughly 15 to 20 pounds heavier than I was during my last marathon training. So I'm going to chalk it up to these bulging biceps rubbing up against my tank top. There goes a jet flying by. So if you know anything about Sacramento, we have a few Air Force bases. I live in Rancho Cordova, and not too far away we got Mather Air Force Base, where they still have jets and planes flying out of there, and so that was one of them. So but today's message, you guys, is about comparison. One of my most favorite quotes that I've heard is, comparison is the thief of joy. And I was sharing this actually with one of our members yesterday, and they kind of perked up, and they, like they had never heard the phrase or the quote before. And so I thought, gosh, you know what? I thought it was one that's like been circulating the internet these days, and I thought that, you know, most people had heard it at least once, but apparently they didn't. And so I thought, well, gosh, maybe you haven't either. So I wanted to share it with you. Comparison is the thief of joy. What does that mean? That means that if we compare ourselves to other people, then we may take away the beauty and the growth that we ourselves are seeing in our own lives. Everybody has their own obstacles. Everybody has started their life with their own attributes, traits, and benefits. And so comparing yourself to somebody else in someone else's journey is going to take away from the progress that you have made in your own life. So I'll give you an example. I'm 43 years old. I just started, my wife and I started our boot camp business, Rancho Cordova Fit Body Boot Camp, just under 5 years ago. It'll be 5 years this October 2023. And when we started the business, we had these big giant aspirations on, you know, what it could do. I left a good paying career in order to test myself, in order to bet on myself, in order to grow myself, because I was feeling pretty stagnant and I didn't feel like I was growing, and I just felt that there was so much more for me in my life. You know, I could look back at other 43-year-olds and they're probably doing a lot better financially. I mean, there are 43-year-olds that are doing significantly better financially. They are probably, you know, I'd say that's the biggest thing that you see on the internet, right? Is that like they're going on vacations, and I have friends that go on tons of vacations. We rarely go on vacations at this particular stage in the game because we are in the grind and in the hustle. They're traveling the world. They seem very financially secure, and it's hard sometimes to look at where we are still trying to grow our business and aren't making the amount of money that we thought that we should be making at this particular stage, and not compare. But at the same time, as I take a step back and I take comparison with other people away, and I look at where I am and where I came from, I've had significant growth in my life. We've had continual growth year after year, except for maybe COVID. COVID was obviously challenging. But if I were to look at where our business is now versus where our business was even a year ago, or when we started our business revenue is significantly larger. I could say that our business revenues have grown 35% from previous years, and we're on track to build that even more. That's a pretty substantial increase. Now, yeah, we've hired employees, we've brought on team members, you know, we've had to move our facility into a larger facility. There have been other things where, you know, we haven't necessarily been able to see the fruits of all of that increase, right? But also, when we first started the business, I didn't pay myself a dime for over a year and a half. And then I paid myself minimally at that point, and have only increased my pay very little. But I also know that in the grand scheme of things, everything is moving in the direction that it needs to move. We are looking to eventually open up a second facility. And from a personal growth standpoint, I have personally grown tremendously. My faith in myself, from where I was 5 years ago in what I believe that I'm capable of doing, has grown tremendously. From a physical standpoint, I'm lifting heavier than I've ever lifted. I'm running faster than I've ever ran. My relationships with Liz and my kids is stronger than it's ever been, and I have a core group of guys that I can really depend on, and even a greater group in our Fit family that I feel that I can depend on if we really, really needed them. And so, yeah, I can compare myself to other 43-year-olds that are probably making significantly more money than I am, and social media is the biggest thief of joy, if you allow it to be. And you can sit there and go, gosh, I'm not where this person is. I'm not making as much as this person. I'm not taking vacations like this person. I don't have the relationships that this person has, or I'm not friends with this person. But instead, take a step back. Where were you a few years ago? Where are you today? Mentally, physically, your personal belief systems, the support systems that you have around you. Have you grown? And most likely the answer to that is yes. Now here's the kicker. If the answer is no, it's not anybody else's fault. It is your fault. It is my fault. It is our responsibility, our sole responsibility, to get out of social media and to stop the comparisons and take the steps necessary in order to move our lives forward. But ho-humming and feeling sorry for ourselves and saying, oh, poor me, I'm not where this person is or this person is, it's not necessarily fair, because you also can't compare the amount of work that they've had to put in and how much work that you have put in thus far. And so another quote that I really love, that I hear a lot from my buddy Ray Kashkar, is nobody cares, work harder. And I love that quote so much, because yeah, I know we live in a society where it's like everybody's got to care, and poor me, and things have to get better. But there's nobody on a white horse in an armor suit, a knight in shining armor, that's gonna come and save you. You are the hero to your story. We are the heroes to our story. And so we have to get out there, put our heads down, and do the work on our own personal development, our own faith development, our own physical development. We have to be the ones to go out and do the work, because when it's all said and done, everybody out there is suffering. Everybody out there is trying hard. And you know what? I mean, although there's people out there that cares, nobody really cares. Like, we got to get out there and we got to do the work, right? We got to make people care, right? We have responsibilities in this world, right? And we can go out there and we can spread the poor me mentality, or we can go out there and spread the work harder mentality. I personally choose to spread the latter. Work harder, get the stuff done, right? And once you take on that mentality, man, sky's the limit. All right. So comparison's a thief of joy. You guys, don't compare yourself to other people. Take a step back. Look at how much you have grown. If you're growing, fantastic. Like, revel in that and continue to do the work. If you haven't been growing, then take a look in the mirror, because that's the person that's stopping you, right? And start getting that person in line and start doing the work and start taking on the mentality that, yeah, you know what? Nobody does care. You got to work harder, all right? You've got to do more. You have to be the hero to your story. And once you take on that mentality, you guys, the sky's the limit. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I love you all. Please click subscribe and like down at the bottom. I'd really, really appreciate it. All right, deuces.